Now you came earlier today than any other day. If you came earlier today than any other day, can I see your hand? No, I will not call you. I'll just listen. Yeah, it's okay. Go and sit down. We'll talk about it later. Take a decision. The second thing God asked me to tell you today, and if after telling you there is no time to preach, please forgive me. Please, if after telling you this, there's no time to preach. Do you know your children who become useless and wayward? You know, I spoke with an elder brother of mine who has had children, the children grown up studying outside the country. And he's been having issues with, just feeling the pain of children. We were raised by the iron hand of my father and the helping, shouting hand of my mother. And so we know what it means to raise people. At least we felt it somehow. So one day my brother was talking about the children. I was still a Catholic priest, or I just resigned. I can't remember. He told me everywhere there are good men whose children are hopeless and useless. He told me, Father, you don't understand. So many good men. Can I tell you another thing? I didn't share this with him. I respect him a lot. So I will not want this. Being many good men are useless parents. Parenting is a way that as a good man you must know. Samuel was a very good man. His children did not take over from him. They were useless. Eli was a good man. His children killed him. The scripture says that the sons of Eli were scoundrels, were Belial, sons of Belial. Many of you are sitting down here, very good people, and your children don't resemble you. Your children look like how you raised them. The commitment you had to raising people. Tiger Woods could be called the greatest golfer because he's black. Golf is not a black business. Anytime Tiger Woods plays golf, it is good for business of golf. So even if he's broken, just come. I and my wife, I follow golf because of Tiger Woods. His father raised him to be who he is today, and he's raising his son. The year the father of Tiger Woods died was the year he had crisis and lost his wealth and privileges. Serena Williams and Venus Williams, they broke the genes of black women in lawn tennis. When they started, people booed them, people molested them, people bullied them. They did all sorts of things. Those two women combined have conquered the tennis world. And the day she retired as a queen. The father saw the future and raised them to fit into the future. She's now a mother, and the daughter will be great. Why? The man he's married to is a billionaire, but both of them are more committed to that daughter than they are committed to money. Whatever you are committed to will prosper. It is the greatest level of lie to not commit to God and expect God to prosper you. It's the greatest lie of church. Adjusting the church of God to accommodate men without the Spirit of God and without any effort to change them. Sir, whatever you are committed to, look at the politicians. Many of them don't have any time for church. I've seen politicians who spend thousands of naira to sleep with young women and book hotel rooms to accommodate them year to year. They were invited to church by another politician, and they sat down. A local government chairman will give 5,000 naira. Why? He's just telling you, my source is not God. And many politicians who make very extraordinary donations, they never redeem them. They use it to make political statements. But those same people, they don't miss paying their token to the occult or secret cult that sponsors them. Or Koribo, go to Anna, go to Ibibio, go to Oro area, wherever there is an Koribo that politicians go to, it cannot lack. There was a man from Ikorinua sent children outside. They spent a lot of money. Why? Both those who do pastor, he told a Catholic priest, it's only a Catholic priest that has not come yet to all these churches, so don't preach to me. They tell you if you don't come back in 6 months' time to do this and do this and do this, these are consequences. So people go there to arrive before 6 months. If I am lying, come out and tell me you are lying. Many of you here, your father, your mother, and even yourself, you have patronized places of altar. Sir, there is nothing that will work for you without rules. They will tell you, and you say, like, I told you, if I don't preach, you'll forgive me. Sure, you'll forgive me. Say, I'm not going to hear him. I have a cousin. I don't want to talk too much because she's a cousin, very distant cousin, that talked about a particular man that she was going to, because we are like kind of people that when I met, every time I meet her, I'll try, what is going on in your life? And she tells me everything that is true. Say, this man, so wealthy, just that I don't know what he does. He has all these men surrounding him. The law is that you cannot go and visit him when you have period. The day she went, like, the thing just happened by accident. The man almost strangled her. Why? One of the laws is that you cannot be in association with a woman in a period of a period. And something will go bad. And a man, he is not married because he's afraid of things leaving him. So he meets a woman at selected times. Anything that does not have law is a thing that has no power. Write it down. Why did God reveal his ways to Moses? The one who knows the way of God is the one who knows how to use the power of God. God revealed his ways to Moses. That is why when it was time to drink water from the rock, God did not speak to any other person. He spoke to Moses. Take the rod in your hand. Stand before a rock. Speak to the rock. Another time he says, strike the rock. Another time he said what? Speak to the rock. The difference between the two commands is the reason why Moses did not enter the promised land. Why? The day he was asked to strike, he struck. The day he was asked to speak, he struck. In the spiritual, when you are given authority like I'm called, and you interpret it to make you feel comfortable or to bring in your emotion, you are replaced. And God told him, go and ordain your personal assistant because this is the end. And you say, why didn't God show him mercy? Mercy doesn't change the pattern. So God cannot use mercy to change a pattern. A pattern is eternal. It was there. It is there. It will be there. So mercy can just put you somewhere and care for you to eat and drink, but you cannot sit on the seat that discipline was to keep you. These are things that is the reason why I started this call and started preaching. I can count on my fingers how many people have stood to preach on my behalf. I am more interested in raising people who will preach here than inviting people to preach. There is a man who is a bishop. He's one of those who ordained bishop in this part of the world. He's very popular. He told me sometime in about 3 years ago in a function, he said, man of God, I have preached everywhere. The only place remaining for me to preach is your church. I say, that's wonderful. And let me tell you what, wonderful is just the beginning. Home, he will never preach in my church. I know why. I will not mention his name because he will stone me. So I will not make that kind of mistake, God forbid. He's a great man, respected everywhere. There are people who make people bishop. If he has as a goal to preach here, It has to be either government event, and government say you are the host, but you will not say anything. Somebody, that means it's not my church, it's government event. Why? When God calls me home, I will not take responsibility for others. I will take for myself. So I choose what I do. So those who sit under me, get ready, grow enough that the day I'm tired, I sit down, you preach. Thank God the first lady is growing in leaps and bounds and amazing. So my time of holiday is close. Sir, I am here to represent revelation. Whatever you are not committed to does not have a future. It is commitment to children that give them future. It is commitment to marriage. If you forever, the one who knows will lead the one who does not know. That's why the devil leads many Christians. Why? The devil knows more about evil. Why are many people who are leading in politics, leading in many things, even those who were righteous before they came into politics, they become satanic? Why? The reason is that those who serve Satan are more committed to it. And because they are more committed to Satan, Satan shows himself mighty for them. And many people who carry the name of God go into politics, go into different things. Before you know it, they fall apart. Why? We are trained to take God for granted. And that is why. How are we going to redeem that? We have to raise men like iron. How are we going to change what is happening in marriage? We have to raise young men and women that will be committed to making marriage work. Prayer doesn't make marriage work. It is commitment to marriage. Prayer is only part of the commitment. Knowing about marriage is part of it. Many people sitting down here, they know nothing about marriage except sleeping with their wives in the night. And if you want to tell them, come and sit down here, let's talk about marriage, they feel, again for me, again you see the Catholic priest, again to tongue of the young condom you send. That you have been in one place for a long time doesn't mean you have made progress. Readers are leaders. So I'm committed to knowing. That's my greatest responsibility to myself. What is one thing you know? You give your greatest commitment. Check. That is what works for you. I want you to sit down, ask yourself a question. What is one thing in my life I'm so committed to? If you check, you are good in that thing. There are some young women, they are so committed to sleeping with men, and every man that sleeps with a woman. This one, sincerely, that means that woman is committed to that business. The same thing with men. Those who have nothing else to do except to learn how to put themselves in the life of women and they pay their bill. Is committed to it. And sorry, you tell me it's okay for you. As if what I'm talking about you don't understand it. It is not age that matters in life, it is commitment. That's how young girls take husbands from very elderly and seriously educated women, because they know more than they know. If you are angry about the way I talk, pray for me. But make sure you get something before I say it. Know something. You will take over something. But be careful what you know. Be careful what you are committed to, because your commitment will reveal your futures. If you are committed to foolishness, don't tell me about your future. I already know it's foolishness. If you are committed to stupidity, you don't need to waste your energy. Your future looks stupid. If you are committed to laziness, don't worry. I can see your future as far as my eyes can see. It is lazy. If you are committed to sitting out every Sunday evening and Monday evening and drinking, whether you buy it or not, I can predict your marriage and your children. I know how your business looks like. Your commitment gives the most fundamental revelation about what you will leave behind. What are you committed to? You cannot serve God on the altar of convenience. It must be on the altar of commitment. Let me tell you two things, one or two things that happens when you are committed. You make sacrifice without being pushed. Everything that you are committed to takes sacrifice from you, and you don't complain. Anytime you complain about sacrifice, it's because there is no commitment. So if your husband is always talking about, I cannot do this, I cannot, he cannot understand sacrifice, don't worry. You married a man who's committed to you, and don't worry, just settle with it if you cannot change it. That is why you must know something about commitment in every relationship before you marry. The first lady, I honor and celebrate her, but I didn't really like her. When God convinced me that she would be my wife, and after I accepted, all I wanted, I was on a long fast that took me more than 1 year. So I was fasting and praying every day. All I did was fast pray for more than 1 year to prepare to step out. And when God convinced me is Inyene, all I wanted was, I want to know Inyene. So once in a while, and I'm very spontaneous. If you are working with me, you have problem, because I don't really plan much. My plan is to plan, not to plan. That's my plan. I plan every day. I plan as I go. And she's a carefully planning person. So I would just say, hello, Inyene, can you come? Let's just meet and talk. I say, oh, that would be wonderful. But we have rehearsal in church this Saturday morning. I say, Saturday morning. You people don't do it in the evening. You say, in our church, we do it in the morning. I say, now, wow. Then I will say, okay, but just come now. Others are there. Are you the one singing tomorrow? No. But just come now. He said, no, it's not sweet when one person is not there. I have tried everything, every time, throughout that period, to see that this girl will break any commitment to church because I want to marry her. She has never done one. And she will tell you, we are a team. If I'm not there, it's not complete. We're a family. And I was so angry. But do you know this thing, you know? And she said, yes, I know. It's just that these are things we cannot change. But I knew something in that process, that I'm meeting somebody that can handle things. It takes a committed person to be given serious responsibility. Please, don't engage gifted people. If a gifted person does not have commitment that can make the person sacrifice, please don't engage that person. Pay the person from a distance, benefit from the gift, but don't let the person come into your life. Any man who is not committed that comes into your circle will change your circle. It will be the weakest link. I had told you already that if I don't preach, please forgive me. So, I'm just telling you again. All of these things I've been counting is to tell you, if you cannot change your time to honor the God who killed his son on the cross so that Satan will have no power over you. If he killed his son to save you, and you cannot kill your laziness and adjust your time to serve him, relocate. I give you 1 month from now till the end of this month to look for a church. I will prayerfully ask God to lead you to a man. But the only thing I will ask is that wherever you go, there will be a man who will harass you to honor God. In case my language does not help you, there are better men with better language. But my wish for you is that for the first time in your life, you will adjust to honor something. You will adjust to honor God. And God is provoked. And pressure is upon God. Because he says, when you honor me, I will honor you. And recently I was talking to somebody, and for the first time I heard that every time you honor somebody, you put pressure upon that person to reply. Every time you dishonor somebody, you put pressure on that person to bring you down. Whoever you honor, sir, it will work, but it will not work for you, it will work against you. Anytime you dishonor, anyone you dishonor, including your children, if you dishonor your children, eventually they will insult you before people. Anybody and any spirit, anything that you honor, you put pressure on that thing, to use everything they have. That is why do people keep the laws of satanic altars that they go to? Because by keeping those laws, you adjust, and in that adjustment, you prove that you honor, and then you put pressure on that demon to do what that demon said they will do. And if you treat God anyhow, you put pressure on God. Whether it is Jesus praying for you or any man of God praying for you, as you dishonor God, you are putting pressure on God to treat you like nothing. And when God treats you like nothing, rise. I want to remind you that I'm told that the horsemen have just arrived. And for the first time, the Holy Ghost reminded me as I stood at this altar in worshiping. I was told, tell members of this church, go and study horse. Horse, when you talk about horse, it's not used every time. It's used only by princes and kings and those who are outstanding. So horse is royal. Horse is not used to carry burden. Horse is used in battles. It means dominion in battle. Horse is used not in every sport, but in elite sport. It means pleasure at the highest level. Horse is expensive. Horse is royalty. Every time you see horse, there is something that you perceive. It's a beast of majesty. I was told horsemen have arrived. So in this house, several things, departments of the angelic host